Hello, everyone. Welcome to a special edition of Building Subtext. You might know how this already worked, but somebody had asked, I wish Muse would guide me through how to build a story. And maybe if you're having trouble understanding how to convert your story idea into a story form, so maybe you haven't joined the Narrative First Workshop or the Subtext Accelerator Program or AI-powered storytelling cohort. And you might just be a subscriber to Subtext and you want to know how the heck do I move all these things around and what do they mean? You can just ask Muse. And just so you know, Muse 23 is the previous version of Muse. I just have this up until I can get this one completely ready. But I would always go with the purple one with the 3 stars. So if I'm in the premise builder right now, and I'm just going to pop this open and say, hey, can you help me figure out my story by using the premise builder? And what Muse will do is it will help walk me through the whole story. Absolutely, James. Let's get started with the premise builder to figure out your story form, and we'll take it step by step. Step 1, identify the objective story and main character through lines. So what it's doing is it's going to start at the top and work its way down to the bottom. See some guided instruction here. So it wants to know what the main character through line is and what the objective story through line is. So the plot and the central character and their personal baggage. And it will say first we need to define, it'll be different depending on when you ask, what time of day, what else you throw in there. A group of adventurers searching for a lost treasure in the Amazon rainforest would be the plot. This is just an example. A seasoned explorer haunted by the disappearance of his brother during a previous expedition. I might actually keep this. I'll just keep this for the example. Once we have these descriptions, we can assign them to domains. If you're unsure, I can suggest some options based on the type of story you're aiming for. Oh, okay. I'll try this. I'll say, okay, I like the idea of a group of adventurers in the Amazon rainforest, but maybe instead of searching for treasure, we instead make this psychological thriller where they all turn against each other. Pretty cool. All right. So we'll do that. And then it will help me figure out the story form in here. There's about 32,000 different unique story forms depending on how you arrange all this stuff. Great. A psychological thriller in the Amazon rainforest where the adventurers turn against each other. Sounds intense and intriguing. Let's break it down. Objective story. All right. Slowly turns against each other as paranoia and mistrust take over. That's good. The leader of the group will be the main character who is struggling with the guilt of a past expedition that went horribly wrong. Cool. Now let's assign these to domains. The objective story domain. Since this is a psychological thriller with the group dynamics and mistrust being central, so it's not about going after a treasure, let's place the OS in psychology. So then what I would do is I would take the objective story here. Right now it's in physics, so I'm going to push it over here. Now it's in psychology, right? Main character. The main character is dealing with personal guilt and past trauma, which fits in well in mind. Okay, so past guilt. So I'll put it in there. Step 2, identify the story goal or the intention. Given the objective story domain in psychology, here are the possible story goals. So you'll see here, this is the next one down. What is the goal of the story? There are 4 choices. Right now it's locked on becoming, but you can have these other 3, and then it helps define what is the meaning of making those different choices. Conceptualizing, developing a plan or strategy to survive the rainforest and each other. That's interesting. Being, maintaining their roles and sanity within the group. Oh, that one's actually cool. Becoming, transforming into something they never thought they would become due to the extreme circumstances. No, coming up with a new idea or understanding of their situation and each other. I actually like maintaining their roles and sanity within the group. Which one of these resonates most with your story? All right. And then it also jumped ahead to step 3. So I'm just going to do step 2. For step 2, being, maintaining their roles, but I want it all to break down in the end. Maybe something for A24. All right. Fantastic choice. Being as the story goal fits perfectly for a psychological thriller where maintaining roles and sanity is crucial, and having it all break down in the end adds a compelling twist. Very A24-esque. So I'll set this to B. Right. Step 2, okay, so I determined the goal of the story. So now step 3 is identifying the pivotal elements. So that's these right here, pivotal elements. Let's look and see what it says. Given the story goal of being, here are the possible pivotal elements. Knowledge versus thought. The main character relies on what they know, while the obstacle character challenges them to think differently. Ability versus desire. The main character focusing on their abilities, while the obstacle character is driven by their desires. Now, this is interesting. Those choices aren't there. So I'm going to tell it, hey, for number 3, those choices aren't there. My apologies. Let's clarify the choices for main character mental sex. Wait a second. No. Oh, it thought, because I said number 3, which is this number 3. Let's try this again. Let's go back to the pivotal elements. All right. No, I meant for step 3, pivotal elements, I don't see those choices. All right. Let's revisit. Okay. Here are the correct pairs of pivotal elements for the capable family, which is where we are in right now, which includes being. Now you'll see these are all the right ones. Accurate, so it's doing all the right. No. Sometimes it gets a little confused. All right, so ending versus continuing. Which pair do you think best represents the conflict between your main character and the obstacle character? I have no idea at all. Maybe you can give me an example of each so I can make up my mind? I have no idea. So let's see. Absolutely. All right, so accurate versus deviation. Accurate. The main character insists on sticking to the plan and following precise instructions, whereas the obstacle character believes in improvising and deviating from the plan when necessary. See how cool that is? That's very different. Example. In a survival situation, the leader insists on following the map exactly, while another member argues that they should take shortcuts based on intuition. That's pretty cool. Effect versus cause would be a different story. In this one, the leader, main character, is worried about the immediate effects of their decision on the group's survival, while another member is fixated on understanding why things are happening. Ending versus continuing. The leader wants to end the expedition and return home, while another member insists on continuing the search despite the dangers. That's pretty cool. Expectation versus determination. The leader expects the group to follow orders perfectly. That one's obvious. While another member is determined to succeed, even if it means breaking the rules. I've seen that before. Proven versus presumption. The leader insists on only tried and true survival techniques, while another member presumes they can find a shortcut based on hunch. That's okay. Result versus process. The leader is fixated on reaching a destination, while another member emphasizes the importance of the journey. That would be interesting. Theory versus hunch. Leader follows a detailed plan based on scientific theories, while another member acts on their hunches and intuition. Okay. Trust versus test. The leader trusts the group's abilities and decisions, while another member constantly tests the group's loyalty. So the one that I liked the best was continuing and ending. So I'm going to let it know that. I love continuing versus ending. Excellent choice. The dynamic between those two will add a compelling layer of tension to your psychological thriller. So I just come up here and you're selecting what the element for the main character is. So I will go and choose continuing. So now I've set the story so that the main character is continuing. Oh, I'm sorry. No, the main character was ending because the main character wanted to bring it all to an end. Let me just make sure. I thought that was cool. The leader wants to end the expedition and return home, while another member insists on continuing the search despite the dangers. That's pretty cool. Or at least continuing the experience. Cool. All right. So we're getting closer. So we've gotten 3 choices down. Step 4, align the rest of the story form. Story driver. Actions that force decisions or decisions that force actions. Okay. I'm just going to go with action because we'll just say that's how it's going to end up. Because it's like a psychological thriller, and I really don't want the major plot points. If you don't know what this is, you can ask me, but it's what the major plot points are, if they're determined by choices or if it's being forced by action. So I'm going to go with the actions. All right, this is the interesting one. Chain or steadfast. So the main character resolve. Changed, abandoning something or maintaining something. So I would ask, I'm not sure yet about my main character, or I'll put MC resolve. Can you explain the difference between the two choices given what I've written so far? This is great because it's in context. Let's see. Changed. The main, let's just say main character, undergoes a significant transformation in their perspective, beliefs, or approach. If your main character is changed, then they might start the story with a rigid mindset, perhaps insisting on maintaining control and order within the group. Over the course of the story, as paranoia and mistrust escalate, they might come to realize that their approach is flawed. They might abandon their need for control, accepting that they can't manage everything. I like that. The leader begins by trying to keep everyone in line, but by the end they realize that their insistence on control has contributed to the group's downfall. They change their approach, perhaps too late. Yeah, that's what I like. And then steadfast. The main character remains true to their original perspective. If your main character is steadfast, they may hold on to their belief in maintaining control and order within the group. Their resolve to keep things together might be both their strength and their downfall. The leader continues to insist on maintaining control and order. Their steadfastness in the face of escalating paranoia and mistrust contributes to the group's breakdown and the tragic conclusion. Wow, I don't know. The main character undergoes a significant transformation, realizing their initial approach was flawed and adopt a new perspective. Or the main character remains true to their beliefs and approach, even as the situation... Depends on whether you want your main character to have a moment of realization and change or to remain unwavering in their beliefs. I'm going to just go with change. Both of those sound really cool. So that's what I'm saying. As an author, you can choose either one, whichever one sounds cool to you. And you can try out different ones, but just for the sake of this, I'll just say, let's go with changed for now. So we'll give up trying to get out of the rainforest and start going along with everyone else, which only makes matters worse. So it's kind of like they were on the right track, and because they just stopped wanting to create all this trouble, then that's the end of it. All right, so storage. Oh, I hadn't told him story driver. So let's say story driver, I'm going to say actions. Mental sex, that's a super complex thing. I'm just going to keep it male for right now. It's the difference between linear and holistic is not really true. Intention-oriented is true, but let's just keep it goal-oriented because it's going to be about getting out. So let's say, okay, let's do for 1, let's make that action 2, male, and then for 3, okay, a triumph, virtuous, bleak, or tragedy. So 4 different endings. Given your desire for everything, oh, cool. To break down in the end, a tragedy might be fitting, but let me know your thoughts. I love tragedies, so let's do it. And for 3, I would say for sure, tragedy. And it says, once we add these details, we can build your story for. Watch. So I'm going to do this. It'll say, cool, perfect. Here's a summary of all your choices. So then you can go back in and make sure you make all the choices. Eventually, I'm going to set it up so it'll probably ask at the end, do you want me to build it? And it'll do it for you. Right now, it's a little bit of a manual thing. The leader of the group who is struggling with the guilt of a past expedition, I went horribly wrong, okay. Maintaining their roles, cool. Continuing versus ending, I've got that one. I've got action. Okay, so then here are the other choices. Here's male, so I'm going to keep that. Changed. And then you'll see here, I'm going to collapse this for a second. Tragedy is right here, so I'm going to click tragedy. And then we can build the story. These are the arcs of the main character and obstacle characters, so you can check it. I'll get into that another time. But let me see what it said at the end. Now let's build your story form. I'll go ahead and create it for you, which it can't really do right now. I'm a little eager. I have to code that in there. But for right now, you've got the whole thing. I've got it all figured out here. So then I can build the story. So then, let's come up with a title. Can you come up with a title for me first? Something cool that the producers at A24 would love. Because they're the only ones who make good movies. It crashed. Okay. Oh, you know what? It crashed because I think... Oh, that's funny. It went all over the place. I think it crashed because it thinks it can build the story. If it crashes like this, it's over. This conversation is over. You got to start a new one. But we have everything. So I could probably do this and just say, can you give me 5 different title ideas for a psychological thriller set in the Amazon rainforest that ends in tragedy, where they are all overcome by their own paranoia. I want it to be attractive to A24. I just want title ideas. All right. Echoes in the Canopy. These probably aren't that great. The Lost Mines, Paranoia's Heart, Whispers of the Jungle, The Green Abyss. None of these are good. I'll just call them Whispers. So you just do Whispers, and then you click Build the Story, and now it'll go out and start building the story. I'm all dark. Because this story has actually already been built, it's already been built to 32,000, it's going to go really quick because it's not having to build it. Somebody else had this story, not the storytelling, which is all the cool stuff with the rainforest and all that, but just the idea that an objective story in psychology where being is the goal, and then the elements of continuing and ending, and that it ends in tragedy. Let's see. That seems to be taking a long time. Okay, boom, done. So then I can just go and take me to my story, and you will see that it's all been built. And if I go to the story form here, there you go. So it's changed, male, failure, bad. Here's the action. So I just made those simple choices, and then in order to balance out the whole narrative, to make it a complete story, it went in and filled in all the blanks. So this is my whole story all at once, just based on those simple choices that I have. Continuing, and then, so you'll see here, the main character is all about ending, the obstacle character is all about continuing, and then it ends in failure. And then if I need to, I can always go back to that conversation if I want to go back to it. And then I can go into all my conversations, and it's up here. Oh, that's the titles, but this is the one, Initiate Story Form Exploration with Premise Builder. So I can always come back into here and check it all out if I want to revisit everything, or if I want to go back to those ideas. So that's how you can build a story very quickly, a very unique story. And then, of course, you go down the list here and just build it out and have a really great time. And, of course, Muse is always there to help you out. And if you have any other questions, please leave them down below. This is a fun with subtext. Not a build. Yeah, it's building subtext, but fun with subtext. And I hope to hear from you soon. Hope this helped.